Marcus Hayes from Philadelphia Inquirer. Brett, you guys were up 22 at one point, and it evaporated. What did you see made it go away?
I mean, I think the Celtics' defensive intensity went to a higher level. I think somewhere about the 5-something minute mark, we brought Joel and JJ back into the game in the second period, and we give them credit. They went on a little run, then they went on another run. I think with about 2 minutes left. You're sitting there wondering matchups. You're thinking about timeouts. You're thinking about all of it, and I feel like if I had to do it again, I would do the same thing. I would have had the same people in the game, trying to, on the road, make sure you have an ample amount of timeouts. It's going to be a close game, and that's the decision I made.
Coach John Schumann, NBA.com. Your own defense was disruptive first 16 minutes of the game, forcing turnovers, deflections. How did they sort of recover from that? What happened with you on that end of the floor, sort of end of the second quarter, start of the third?
Yeah, I mean, I think their speed at times does bother us, and obviously, the matchup with Al is a tough one for us and for most of the league. I think in general, you go have a strong look again at the three-point line, their three-point percentage. But to your point, I feel that their scoring came with attacking us off a dribble, and really collapsing our defense. And we give them credit where they found open three-point shooters.
Brett, what did you think of the way Ben played, and do you think the physicality of how Boston's playing him, Marcus Morris in particular, is affecting him?
I think the way Boston is guarding us in general is something that I respect. Like I've said, every time either pre or post game, and when I see you at our practices, I kind of am redundant. I say the same thing. They are elite guarding their own men. And I think there's a physicality and a switchability that they got apples for apples on many, many different matchups. And with Ben, I give them credit. They do a good job defending him. There is an element of physicality that I feel that they have applied to all of us. And tonight, Ben struggled, as we see. But I give Boston's defense a lot of credit and respect.
Brett, you said that you wouldn't really make any changes with regards to who you played, timeouts, all that. But the moment in the second quarter where they're on that run where they really took the game back, what's the thought process there behind not calling a timeout and sort of quelling the run?
That you trust your veteran. I trust my players that they have shown that they can hold on to stuff, that they know how to stay organized, and they've shown that over the past third of the season. And as I said, as we study this, and it's easy for us to say, oh, they went on that run, like, do you burn a timeout? When we study it and we sort of like discuss it on a bench, we want to have stuff. I wished I had more at the end of the game as well. And so I feel like when you started subbing that we were going to be able to hold the fort. In retrospect, we didn't. Would have timeout have fixed it? I don't think so. We can maybe second guess that. But by and large, it's going into the game and trying to make sure you have enough at the end of the game also to manage it. You knew it was going to be a close game. The notion that we were going to maintain a 20-point lead and walk out of the Boston Garden wasn't on my mind. That wasn't on my mind. I felt like we did to them, they were going to do to us. Runs were going to be had. And so when you bring Joel Embiid and JJ back into the game, and you've got a sort of a stockpile of timeouts to use, that was my decision. And as I said, as I sit here, I'd do it again. I'll go back and look at the tape, and if it's something that I will pivot out of, I'll share it with everybody when I see you next.
Into this one,
Coach, Brett, TJ obviously had a big impact in the game tonight. When he's rolling like that, especially in that last 5 minutes, how do you balance when to decide whether or not to take him out and going with the guys you've rolled with all season, or giving him a shot to kind of close it out?
I mean, it's a tough decision, I admit it. This whole playoff experience is something that I want our young guys and our star players to learn from and grow. And the decision, do you go with TJ still, or do you come back to Ben Simmons? I'm coming back to Ben Simmons. I'm coming back to Ben. He's had a hell of a year. I think he's the rookie of the year. I think he's going to have to learn how to play in these environments, and I'm going back with Ben Simmons.
What did you see from Covington in tonight's game?
I thought he was good. I thought he was good defensively. You know, I thought he made some shots. I thought he was really active and engaged defensively, especially. It's why he ended up with the minutes that he ended up with. But I think 22 points and 9 rebounds, you know, had a positive +4 while he was on the floor. I thought he was good tonight.
Coach Mark D'Amico, Celtics.com. Obviously a tough result for any team to handle, but for a young team, when you walk into that locker room after that game ended, what is the message that you deliver to your players?
That you move on. Nobody's crying. We're not begging for anything. We're going to walk out of Boston knowing they did what they had to do. They won 2 games at home, and we're going to have to reciprocate. And the thing that I don't want is and there won't be, there's not going to be a pity party. We're not going to sit in there and, you know, have a bunch of second thoughts or second guesses. I'm not going to let them, and neither am I going to let the coaching staff. We'll figure out things we have to do to win and improve, but we're going to walk out of here and figure out a way to get back on track. They did what they had to do, and we give them credit, and we look forward to coming back and playing in Philadelphia.
Jared Weiss, The Athletic. In Game 1, Al Horford was able to get mismatches in the post off of screens at the end of the game. Tonight, he was able to attack Joe straight on. What do you think worked and didn't work for defending the pick and roll with Horford tonight, and what are you trying to build on for the next game?
I mean, I thought we did a pretty good job for the most part of staying in front of people. That matchup that you just said, that instance that you just said, I think it brought it to 106, 101. It pretty much sealed the game, that catch-go that Al did. And I think in general, you know, like you get decisions to make on how you guard Al Horford in a pick and roll. And it's really hard because sometimes you saw we started blitzing at the end of the game and, you know, just trying to bring a lot of people back over to the ball, wherever Al picked in part from. But I think, you know, the decision of do you late switch him, do you play him straight up, do you hedge and go back, that's always a hard decision. I think that play that you're talking about, we give Al credit. That was a tough closeout for Joel, and Al attacked it, and I think it sealed the game. Thank you.